Have you ever wondered why the most advanced civilization in human history just vanished overnight? No warning, no survivors, no trace, just gone. We're talking about a place so technologically superior that even today, with all our modern science, we can't fully explain what they built or how they did it. A city of golden temples, massive walls, and engineering that defied physics. And then one day, the ocean swallowed it whole. But here's the thing that keeps historians up at night. What if Atlantis wasn't just a story? What if it was real? And what if the reason it disappeared is far more terrifying than we ever imagined? Today, we're diving deep into one of history's greatest unsolved mysteries. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll never look at ancient history the same way again. Let's get into it. The year is around 360 BC, Athens, Greece. A philosopher named Plato is writing. He's not just any writer. This man is one of the most respected thinkers in human history. His words have survived for over 2,000 years, and in two of his works, the Timaeus and Critias, he tells us something absolutely wild. He describes Atlantis. But here's what most people don't know. Plato didn't present this as fiction. He didn't say, "Here's a cool story I made up." No, he claimed this was real history, passed down through generations, from Egyptian priests to the Greek statesman Solon, and eventually to him. According to Plato, Atlantis existed 9,000 years before his time. Think about that, 9,000 years. That would place Atlantis around 9600 BC, way before the pyramids, before Mesopotamia, before anything we call civilization. And this place? It wasn't some primitive village. It was a superpower. Plato described a massive island larger than Libya and Asia combined. It had a sophisticated society with incredible architecture, concentric rings of water and land, connected by tunnels big enough for ships to pass through, bridges covered in precious metals, temples dedicated to Poseidon with gold statues, hot and cold running water, advanced agriculture, a powerful navy. These people had technology that shouldn't have existed. But then, in a single day and night, everything changed. Violent earthquakes shook the ground. The sea rose up in monstrous waves. The entire island, with all its people, all its achievements, all its secrets, sank beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Atlantis was gone forever. Or was it? Now you might be thinking, come on, this is obviously just a myth. And look, I get it. For centuries, that's exactly what scholars believed. They said Plato made it up as a moral lesson about pride and the fall of civilizations. But here's where things get interesting. Scientists and archaeologists have started finding things that don't quite add up. Unexplained ruins underwater, advanced ancient structures that shouldn't exist, geological evidence of massive catastrophic events around the exact time Plato mentioned. Let me break down some theories that'll blow your mind. Theory 1. Santorini and the Minoans. In the Aegean Sea, there's a Greek island called Santorini. Beautiful place, tourists love it. But around 1600 BC, something apocalyptic happened there. A volcano erupted. Not just any eruption, one of the most powerful explosions in human history. The blast was so massive it created tsunamis over 100 feet tall. It destroyed the entire center of the island, leaving behind a giant crater filled with water. The eruption was 4 times more powerful than Krakatoa. And here's the kicker. Right near Santorini was the Minoan civilization on the island of Crete. These people were incredibly advanced for their time. They had multi-story buildings, sophisticated plumbing, beautiful art, and extensive trade networks. They were the dominant power in the region. After the Santorini eruption, the Minoan civilization collapsed. Many researchers believe Plato heard stories about this real disaster, and that became the basis for his Atlantis tale. The timeline is off by thousands of years, sure, but ancient dates weren't always accurate. Maybe there was a translation error. Maybe the Egyptian priests got the numbers wrong. The parallels are striking. Advanced civilization, island setting, sudden destruction by natural disaster. It fits, but not everyone's convinced. Theory 2. The Atlantic Ocean location. Some researchers take Plato literally. He said Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules. That's the Strait of Gibraltar. Past that is the Atlantic Ocean. And guess what? There are some very weird underwater formations out there. In the 1960s, a pilot photographed what looked like massive stone structures underwater near the Bahamas. The Bimini Road, as it's called, appears to be a half-mile-long arrangement of limestone blocks forming a path. Some blocks are perfectly rectangular. They're arranged in straight lines, natural formation, or remnants of an ancient civilization. Scientists are divided. Some say it's just beach rock, a natural geological process. Others point out features that seem too precise, too organized to be random. Then there's the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. This underwater mountain range runs right down the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. In some places, it rises close to the surface. What if, thousands of years ago, parts of it were above water? What if an island existed there and then sank due to tectonic activity? It's possible. The Earth's crust shifts. Islands do sink. Japan has legends of underwater cities. So does India. Why not the Atlantic? But we still don't have definitive proof. Theory 3. Antarctica. Now this one sounds crazy at first, but hear me out. Some researchers propose that Atlantis was actually Antarctica before it was covered in ice. There's a theory that Earth's crust can shift rapidly, causing entire continents to move to different climate zones. Maps from the 1500s, like the Piri-Reis map, seem to show Antarctica's coastline with incredible detail, but without ice. How did medieval cartographers know what Antarctica looked like ice-free? They claimed they copied from much older maps that might date back thousands of years. If a civilization existed on Antarctica when it was in a warmer position and then the crust shifted, that civilization would have been frozen and buried under miles of ice, lost forever, or at least until the ice melts. Again, this is highly speculative. Most geologists reject rapid crust shift theories, but the questions remain. Those maps exist. Someone knew something. Theory 4. It never existed. Of course, we have to address this. The most mainstream view is that Plato invented Atlantis entirely. He was a philosopher, not a historian. His writings often used allegory and metaphor to teach lessons. The story of Atlantis appears in works that are clearly philosophical dialogues, not history books. Maybe Atlantis represented Athens at its peak, proud and powerful, and its destruction represented what happens when societies become corrupt and greedy. A warning, not a historical record. Many scholars point out that no other ancient source mentions Atlantis, only Plato. If this massive civilization existed and was destroyed so catastrophically, wouldn't other cultures have written about it? The silence is deafening. But then again, how much ancient knowledge have we lost? The Library of Alexandria burned. Countless texts from antiquity are gone forever. Maybe references to Atlantis existed and we just don't have them anymore. We may never know for certain. So why does Atlantis still captivate us today? Why do we care about a place that might not have even existed? I think it's because Atlantis represents something deeper. It's not just about a lost city. It's about lost potential, lost knowledge, lost greatness. Think about it. What if there was a civilization that figured it all out? Peace, prosperity, technology, harmony with nature? And what if we lost all of that wisdom? What if we're struggling today with problems they already solved thousands of years ago? That's haunting. It also reminds us of our own fragility. Atlantis, if it existed, was powerful, advanced, seemingly invincible, and nature destroyed it in a single day. We live in a world with climate change, rising sea levels, earthquakes, volcanic activity. Our coastal cities hold millions of people. Our technology depends on fragile infrastructure. Are we so different from Atlantis? Could our civilization disappear just as quickly? These questions hit differently now than they did even 50 years ago. We've seen tsunamis wipe out entire communities in hours. We've watched hurricanes devastate major cities. We know that asteroid impacts have caused mass extinctions. Atlantis isn't just ancient history. It's a mirror. It shows us what we could lose if we're not careful. Now let me share something most documentaries won't tell you. There are people actively searching for Atlantis right now. Not conspiracy theorists in their basements, actual scientists with funding and equipment. Satellite imaging has revealed dozens of underwater structures around the world that we never knew existed. Sonar technology maps the ocean floor in stunning detail. Underwater drones can explore depths humans could never reach. In 2011, a team claimed to have found Atlantis in southern Spain, buried under marshlands. Rectangular structures, circular patterns, evidence of a massive tsunami. In 2013, researchers pointed to geological formations near the Azores Islands as possible evidence. Every few years, someone announces, "We found it," and then the evidence is questioned, debated, and usually dismissed. But the search continues, because here's the truth. We've explored less than 5% of the ocean floor. 5%. That means 95% of the ocean bottom is unmapped, unexplored, unknown. Entire mountain ranges down there, canyons deeper than the Grand Canyon, and yes, possibly ruins of civilizations we've never heard of. The ocean keeps secrets, really good secrets. What if Atlantis is down there right now, covered in sediment, waiting? What if we've swum right over it and didn't even know? Let's talk about what the disappearance of Atlantis actually means, regardless of whether it was real. Humans have been telling this story for over 2,000 years. That's longer than most religions, longer than most countries have existed. Why? Because we need stories that explain the unexplainable. We need mysteries that challenge us. Atlantis is the ultimate mystery. It combines everything we love: lost treasure, ancient wisdom, catastrophic disaster, a warning from the past, a hope for what humanity can achieve, and a fear of what we can lose. Every generation reinterprets Atlantis for their own time. In the age of exploration, it was a new land to discover. In the Industrial Revolution, it represented advanced technology. In the New Age movement, it became spiritual enlightenment. Today, it's a cautionary tale about environmental collapse. Atlantis is whatever we need it to be, and maybe that's the point. Maybe Plato knew exactly what he was doing. He created a story so compelling, so mysterious, so human that it would survive forever. Whether it was real or not almost doesn't matter anymore. The story itself has become real. So, why did Atlantis disappear? If it was Santorini and the Minoans, it disappeared because of a volcanic eruption? If it was in the Atlantic, it disappeared because of earthquakes and rising seas? If it was Antarctica, it disappeared because of crustal displacement and ice. If it was just a story, it never disappeared because it never existed. But here's my take, and this is just my opinion. I think Atlantis, in some form, was real. Maybe not exactly as Plato described it, maybe not as advanced as the legends say, but I think there was a civilization, somewhere, that achieved something remarkable, and then was destroyed suddenly. Why do I think that? Because it's happened over and over throughout history. Pompeii, the Mayans, the Indus Valley Civilization, Göbekli Tepe. We keep finding evidence of sophisticated ancient societies that we knew nothing about. Our ancestors were smarter than we give them credit for. They built things that still baffle engineers today. They had knowledge that was lost when their civilizations fell. Maybe Atlantis is just the name we give to that pattern. The rise and fall, the achievement and loss, the reminder that nothing lasts forever, not even us. If you've made it this far, thank you. Seriously, this mystery has fascinated me for years, and I love sharing it with people who are curious about the unknown. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's greatest mysteries, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We explore topics like this every week: ancient mysteries, unsolved cases, historical events that don't make sense, the stuff that makes you think. Drop a comment and let me know what you believe. Do you think Atlantis was real? Where do you think it was? Or am I completely off base here? And if you really want to go down the rabbit hole, check out the video we did on ancient technology that shouldn't exist. It ties into this perfectly. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, keep questioning. And remember, the best mysteries are the ones we haven't solved yet. See you in the next one.